very good evening to you from wherever you're tuned to Farmers Media. This is the Farm Drive with me, Jackie Mo, kama kawa nimeingia ndani ya studio. I hope you've been keeping on well. How is the weather like wherever you are? Here it's the harvesting season. Kuna watu harvest kwaju, commonly or also known as tamarind. Kuna wengine harvest mahindi, wengine maharagwe. How much are you trading at? Do you have a market? Talk to us, and probably we could link you to some of the markets, available markets that we know, and also tell us the challenges you're facing as you're harvesting. Like yesterday, it rained very heavily here in Kajiado County. So how is the weather like? But even if you walk today, hata huwezi jua, it's like kama mvua ilinyesha. So what are you harvesting, and soko yenye ubesikia iko wapi, so that we also link other farmers ambao wame harvest na bei. How much are you trading whatever you're harvesting? How much are you trading at? And today we want to talk about a very interesting topic on gender inclusivity in Kenya's agri-food systems. Most of the time you usually hear when you talk about gender and the issue of women not having access to land, what are your thoughts with regards to the inclusivity part? Access to land, access to finances. What brings the disconnect when it comes to women and men and youth accessing land? What are the underlying issues that we usually overlook? Because most of the time, even me, I've talked about access to land, but I've never really delved much deeper and looked at the main issues. So that's the discussion we'll be having today. But before that, the stories that have been making headlines on the news is still the ongoing drought situation that we've been facing, and I'll be talking to one of the experts who is dealing with farmers in ASAL regions, and on what exactly the organization is doing, how they're working with the farmers in the ASAL regions, and just to know exactly which areas have been worst affected, and which areas are also looking at being affected by the ongoing drought situation. I'll be asking our director to play that interview that I had earlier on with an expert regarding this issue. And there's so much to talk about. What are your thoughts regarding the issue of women inheriting land? This is an interesting discussion. I'll be joined by some colleagues of mine, and get to listen and hear their thoughts on their take on whether women should inherit land. Like, if you are a guy and you have a sister, would you accept for your sister to be given a portion of your father's land? Or if your lady is married in your home, would you accept for your brother's wife to inherit their land once the husband dies? That's a discussion we want to have, and we'll be looking at, as I told you earlier, the issue of gender inclusivity and where is the women's and youth voice. We're not just looking at our country, Kenya. We'll be looking at this whole issue in the African continent. So keep listening and watching to our Farmers Media. Keep those comments coming in on our Farmers Facebook page. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. Remember to like our posts and give your comments on what you think. We'll also be having our trivia question. It's still on. I'm asking, using barriers to prevent pests from getting into an area is an example of which type of pest management method? Using barriers to prevent pests from getting into an area is an example of which type of pest management method? Is it biological control, mechanical control, or chemical control? Send in your answer, and you never know, you could be the one who's walking away with our goodies that we'll be giving out at the tail end of this show. So do stay tuned. We'll be having that conversation with an agricultural expert who is dealing with farmers or working with farmers in the ASAL regions. Let's listen in and find out what the situation is like in the northern region. Keep watching a Farmers Media. We'll be shortly with our topic and contentious issue of today. That said, this is the Evening Farm Drive, and as I mentioned earlier, we are talking about gender inclusivity in Kenya's agri-food systems, and a promising transformation has already started in Africa's farmland. Family farmers are increasingly using innovative approaches and scientific research combined with traditional knowledge to increase the productivity of their fields, diversify their crops, boost their nutrition, and build climate resilience. These shifts can go much further with the addition of digital tools, increased links to market, and greater efficiency along agri-food chains, especially if the private sector and national policies also support the effort. This comes amidst the conversations that we've been having with matters to do with the ongoing drought situation being experienced in the ASAL regions. And I want to have a discussion with Noah, who is an expert with matters food security. Noah, thank you so much for making time to join us in today's edition. Yes, and briefly tell us who you are for this benefit of our new audience who are listening to today's show. Who is Noah, and what exactly do you do? Yeah, the right person to talk to this evening with matters to do with food security. We've been hearing of news stories of children who are malnourished from the northern regions of Kenya. We've seen livestock dying. What is the current situation with matters food security? Give us a scope of where we're at in Kenya as a country on matters food security and the ongoing drought situation.
In terms of treatment. We are looking also of some lactating mothers, about 200,000, which requires a treatment in terms of acute malnutrition. We have also seen the documented figure so far about 4 million livestock that have died. That is because of the starvation in terms of lack of enough pastures, long distance trekking to look for water. We are also looking at again equivalent number of people who are at the risk of not going without meal daily in terms of starvation, about also the same figures around 4 million. And this has been as a result of so many factors apart from drought again, in terms of the communities trying to recover from the COVID. And we are also looking at the climate, which is unpredictable nowadays because of erratic rainfall. We are also looking at the Russia-Ukraine war, which has made the food prices to go high, fuel going high, fertilizers for planting going high, which made the community, the agro-pastoral, those who are producing in this area, unable to reach the productivity level for their farms.
Very interesting, and it's a very dire situation, as you're mentioning. Today I've learned some two new things. There's the alarm and the alert, and I'm surprised, I'm in Kajiado County when you're mentioning we are on the alert regions. And for true, I've been speaking to some of the farmers, and the situation here is dire. The livestock are dying. And some of the farmers are even appealing for people to give them the pasture for their livestock. But you, having been an expert who is dealing with farmers in the ASAL regions, what exactly are you training the farmers on? Are you training them to start growing crops that are resilient? And even as we look at the crops, there's also livestock, the livestock aspect. What exactly are you training? What training sessions are you having with the farmers there?
Thank you so much. Usually in terms of emergency response, we have categories of response that we normally do. We normally have short term and we have the long term. At the moment in these counties, the short term measures could be now responding immediately to the real drought, that is in terms of the distribution of food and non-food items. Some families being given, for instance, cash where the markets are working so that they can access food from the markets. We're also looking at the health sector responding in terms of supplementing the children with the nutrition supplement, that is the peanuts. And we are also looking at mobile clinic in terms of going to the remote areas where some people cannot access the medical care to treat them in terms of malnutrition. But we also gradually need to graduate to now recovery, and that is what we are also doing. As soon as we do the emergency, we also incorporate the use of recovery and then maybe towards sustainability. And in terms of this, we are looking at supporting the county government of these counties to deliver basic services that will ensure that the communities become more resilient to drought and other climatic shock. For livestock, we are looking at supporting the Department of Veterinary to do continuous vaccination and education of farmers on the management of diseases, especially on drought situation. We are looking at the production of foders, that is drought-resistant foders in these areas, especially when we receive little rains, because there are some specific foders which can thrive well in this area. We are also looking at introducing the drought-resistant breeds in this area so that the communities can continue to multiply, those which can withstand the shocks, and again the breeds that can increase the milk production, because one of the factors that is contributing to malnutrition is low intake in terms of the milk from these communities living in this area. We are also looking at asking the communities to volunteer in terms of selling their animals so that they can keep the minimum they can manage in terms of grazing, so that they do not overgraze their land. They can also get income so that they can buy other foods, because you find they will not grow everything, but now some of the food will have to be sourced elsewhere, that is from neighboring counties, neighboring countries like Uganda and maybe Ethiopia on the other side. In crops, we are also encouraging the pastoralists that going forward, because of the climate change, they will not sustain the way they are living, because if you are to sustain pastoralism the nomadic way, you will have to have a large number of animals, which will mean you have to have a large grazing, enough pastures. But over time, because of the challenges that we have mentioned before in terms of the rain failure and availability of water, going forward they will not manage. So we have been asking them to diversify their source of livelihoods. And how do they diversify? They can now venture to some of the crop production, which include now growing drought-resistant crops. And now, as from the organization, the humanitarian sector, the county government, we help them to get certified seeds, which they can be able to grow. That is the likes of watermelon, the likes of cowpeas, the likes of green grams, and etc. We are also looking at supporting them with farm implements and tools so that they can open new lands, because actually some of these areas, the hassle areas, there are some areas which are highly potential in terms of growing crops. And there are some rivers which are cutting across some of these hassle counties. If you talk of Tana River, we have the longest river in Kenya, that's River Tana, highly underutilized. If you go to Turkana, we have River Kerio, we have River Takwel, and people can do farming along those rivers. You can also channel, you can also open irrigation along those areas, and you can also now grow crops which can enable people access this food. We are also training farmers on dryland farming. That is the best agriculture around dry areas. That is now adopting some of the climate smart technologies in the hassle context so that they can ensure that they produce food for their families. We are also supporting the communities to drill a number of boreholes in terms of ensuring that they access clean water for their animals, for their households, and now also for setting up kitchen garden, the small garden where they can produce diverse nutrient foods around there. We are also looking at in terms of repairing a number of boreholes, not always drilling, because you will find in those gathering, we have a number of boreholes that has been sunk either by county government, by a number of donors, but sometimes they got broke because of overuse. So we usually encourage ways of ensuring that we continuously repair those boreholes to restore to the original position. And finally, also we are looking at now building the capacity of the local communities. That is looking at their behavioral change in terms of attitude. We need to change the way they see things so that they reduce over-reliance from the donors, from the government, and other development partners who normally work in this gathering. So we are training them also to be self-sustainable and look at alternative ways of earning their income and their livelihoods.
Very interesting points there you're bringing out, and I think the first step is changing the mindset of the people living in the drought regions, and probably most of them are used to the depending on donations. And even me, having a colleague here of mine here at work who is also called Noah, like you, he's been trying to change my mindset on because me, I'm so used to the using of indigenous seeds for growing crops, and he's like, Jackie, indigenous are not working, and you need to start changing your thinking and going to the hybrid seeds. Don't you think, what is your take on changing the mindset? How hard is it for farmers who have just always depending on growing one kind of crop? Where are we at with regards to changing our mindsets?
Jackie, I can agree with you. Changing the mindset of us, especially maybe our context and our culture, is not such easy. It's not a one-day assignment that you say, I'm reducing this and I expect communities to change immediately. I think the bottom line around this is making the community to understand the reason why they're in that situation, because they always fail to adapt or to adopt some of these strategies or the technologies or the new things we are bringing to them when they fail from the onset in terms of understanding the bigger picture. Because usually we fail in the entry of the community in terms of have we explained to them why they are malnourished? What are they lacking? What is the inhibitor that make them not to reach or not to be at the bar with other people who are living in other counties? So we need to make sure that they understand the context they are, and now give that bigger picture in terms of the direction you want to take them. But looking at it, another big challenge that made people now also to remain in their traditional way of doing things is in the literacy level. You find the communities living in the mentioned counties, not all of them, the literacy level is high. So we need also to look the aspect of how do we improve access to education, because when somebody is well informed, he will be able to make better choices and good or wise decision. We also need to look at the issues of the age of the people that we are targeting. Going forward, there is a study that says if you must break the poverty cycle, you must also look at the aspect of youths, because they are the next people. Can we also target them? Can we also see how we can bring them on board so that they are the agents going forward in terms of changing their societies, changing their communities? So it's a gradual effort that you might not realize immediately, But going forward, discussing with them, making them understand where you are going, I think we can make them a change. But now it might be gradual. It may not be fast like any other areas, like high potential areas. But now in this hustle, we need to take them slowly. We need to take them to them politely, not forcing, but just explaining to them to understand.
Very interesting there, Noah. And today's discussion you are revolving around the gender inclusivity in Kenya's agri-food systems. You've worked with the farmers in the ASAL regions. What is your take? Is it men or women who are mostly involved with the agri-food systems when dealing with farmers in the ASAL regions?
For me, it depends on the level of the value chain. Usually, from the farm to fork, that is the fork production to consumption. At every level, we usually have different people playing different roles. But usually, in this ASAL context, depending on the value chain, it has a different kind of population or the gender. So, like for instance, if you are encouraging the community to go to agro-pastoralist way, you will always find women being active because of the issues of a kitchen garden. They like attending the small gardens within their farm. It's because most of them do not own the livestock. So if you bring things like kitchen garden, they will be likely to own those things. But for livestock, you will tend to find that the male figure is the one who is dominating there. They are the one who are controlling almost everything. So at the production, if you are looking at agro-pastoralists, you will find women at the production, that is land preparation, weeding, and sometimes even at harvesting, you find them that are also doing. But again, when it comes to the point of sale, is now when you will see the male figure reappearing because of money. So it is happening just like what is happening in high potential areas. Also in other areas, we are still seeing this. I think it's a high time also we continuously, like I was saying, the issues of education, we need also to encourage the male figures to understand that they need also to involve the women in terms of the decision making on the sale, in terms of the prices, in terms of who to buy, because they are the one who are doing the hard labor. But why now, when it comes to the point of sale, you are the one who are deciding? But this is in the context whereby you are doing for commercial, that is especially irrigation scheme in hassle areas, because kitchen garden, in essence, of course, you might not be harvest enough to sell, but just maybe for your consumption. So it varies from value chain. Like poultry, you tend to see women are the one who are doing a lot there. They also have the bone roll. They can sell the eggs, even sometimes the chicken itself. But there is new dynamic around fishing. If you are in Turkana, you will see an interesting value chain. You will find the youth. They are the one who are going to the lake to fish. But now, in terms of simple process, that is when there's slaughtering the fish, you will find women there and maybe the youth. But at the point of sales is now when you also see the men figure appearing again. So it depends on the level of value chain is when you find different specialty and people being engaged. But in totality, women and youth are still sidelined. You will find that the vulnerable people in society, even at this moment, they are the people, because they are not well empowered. When we have this kind of drought, when we have this kind of shock, they are the people who are vulnerable or at the verge of losing their lives.
Very interesting there. I know, Noah, you're rushing because you're having other programs to deal with. But why do you think women are usually sidelined? Just your final take. Do you think women should inherit land?
I think this is a collective decision. Can be collective ownership. I think they can own. They can utilize properly. Actually, women are good farmers. They are keen in terms of quality. Even if you want quality food, women are keen. They are people who also follow instruction. If you if you are an extension of desire.
Well, we lost Noah there for some time, but we'll be getting in touch with him to find out more about the farming in ASAL regions. Do stay with us on a Farmers Media, because we have the contentious issue that I just raised with Noah here on whether women should inherit land. We'll be getting in touch with him as the show continues, just to get his opinion and his thoughts, and why is it that women are being sidelined when it comes to matters owning property. And what is your thoughts? Should women inherit land? Keep watching our Farmers Media. We'll be coming back after this breather. Keep texting and tweeting. Give us your thoughts on what you think of today's topic. I'll be back shortly with more, and we'll be joined by some more guests to discuss this contentious issue. Keep watching our Farmers Media. We'll be back. and she's like, you know that guy who you talk to. Karibuni to the evening pub drive. I hope you've had a nice listen of the interview we just had. I'm shocked. Did you know there are 2 A's when it comes to droughts? There's the alarm and the alert regions that people need to look out for. So the alert are regions that are worst hit, and the alarm are regions that are facing, like they're on the verge of facing drought. And Kajiado is on the alert.
Alert.
That means we are worst hit.
Huh?
Drought.
Kajiado is worst hit.
It's crazy, man. It's so bad that my neighbors, and again, Jackie, when I was to introduce. By the way, my neighbors actually even coming and asking, we do an exchange of water and cows.
What?
What?
Is that serious?
No.
Yes, they're actually telling me, please, I have 50 cows, I'll give you 10. Hizi zingine zikae tu hapa, ziko zinakunywa maji.
What?
That's what I've been dealing with the whole of yesterday and today. So I'm wondering, okay, zikikaa hapa alafu ziibiwe.
That's crazy.
But it's bad. It's very bad. It's very bad. It's very bad state.
Actually, the conversation I was having with another guy called Noah, just like Noah. Oh, by the way, introduced.
There's our Noah. Noah Safina kwa Noah watatu tunajua.
Noah Nasiari Kadima. Inaitwa Noah Kirui.
Noah Kirui.
Yes.
So my name.
My worry. Kevin, I don't know.
Okay.
My worry is what is government doing? Because Kajiado is still very, very, very fertile. But what is happening? Where is the disconnect? I'm still thinking of what the disconnect is.
Because me, actually, when I usually hear of drought, me nafikirianga tu
Northern Kenya.
Yes.
Northern Kenya. But now if you're getting at as worse as Kajiado,
it hasn't trained. Even the rain this year was not enough. It wasn't adequate.
Yeah.
It wasn't adequate. So that means, and then what we're also facing is that you had 50 cows this year. Your brother had 20. Another had 60. They all gave birth. So you have doubled the
number, yeah.
So you see, it's double, and the worst case scenario is that the available resources is not enough even for you yourself.
Well, it's just a terrible situation, but that's another topic for another day. But no, we need to get the CEC of Agriculture for Kajiado County, because there's an article I saw. She has passed a law where she's restricting the herders from working with the animals. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, if you don't work with the animals, so what will they eat? Mchanga?
We need to do something. We need to.
But see, I think as we're looking at that, something else we also need to ask ourselves is, what is the remedy of this before waiting for government? Is there a possibility of probably fodder management system? So that what happens is that you find if you have 100 acres, probably 15 or 20 acres is dedicated to that. Probably because they cannot sell their land. They cannot sell their cows.
And all the animals, and they also cannot regulate the number they keep.
But then, the conversation I had with Kirui, I was asking him, because he deals mostly with the farmers in the Asal regions, and he was like, they're trying to actually explain to the farmers who are in the drought regions to change their mindset, because it all begins with the mindset, changing of your thinking, because you cannot be having 100 cattle and they're all dying because of drought, and you're still keeping them. It makes no logic, at the end of the day. So it's changing the mindset of people, and that brings me now to our topic of discussion.
Yep.
And I think we have a very nice video that has been done regarding this topic, and you're talking about gender inclusivity in Kenya's agri-food system.
Kwanza kabla tuende huko, kuna jamaa former governor in the news. Amesema kama if former Zimbabwean president the late Robert Mugabe was alive, he would not have boarded the bus carrying Africa.
Someone let's say
allowed
on that someone said there's no dignity in poverty.
Like you're trying to tell us poor.
No, dignity ndio uko nayo. No, anyway, I don't know.
Anyway, no, sure.
Gender inclusivity in the agri-food systems, and you're asking, should women be allowed to have their own land? What's your take on women owning land? Before we get into this discussion,
this single men can talk the way they want to talk.
You're the elder.
Let him talk.
Let's start with the senior.
I strongly believe that Kevin should start.
May depend, but I will try. My belief is this: anybody can own land. Tuwezi work agenda hapo. Anybody, if you can produce, you can have land. But agricultural wise, we should allow women to have access to land.
Why?
Because women do more and are better in decision making when it comes to farming.
If you're given a chance, probably your girlfriend or your wife, between buying your wife a car and land, and just giving it to her, kabisa, this one is yours, the name is in your, the
land is in her name. If it's okay.
Which one would you give to your wife or girlfriend?
I can give my wife, not girlfriend. I can give my wife a land to her name. A land on her name. Yes. But now I've become what the plan does she have? Where's the peleka to anybody else? Mpatia shamba lafu shamba itenda ilale hivyo. That's the plan, but it's tricky bado. But we should be going past that.
Even if we are no, you're the senior elder.
I strongly believe women and men should access land, should be able to own land.
But
there is no but. The only thing that we have to do is that we have to make sure that this land is productive. At the end of it all, it is like having a car and you park it in the garage or in the what is it called? You're parking it in the parking
lot.
In fact, even the tires will get messed up. So I think land should not be something that people are fighting for. People should be fighting for what are you doing with the land that is available. Because if you look at it very critically, like where I come from, my dad has given me, my brother, and my siblings land.
You see, you're even saying siblings, not your sisters.
No, as in my siblings.
Siblings are sister. Sibling is everything.
He has said me, my brother, and
siblings.
my siblings.
Unajua wako wengi.
Anasema 50.
Oh, sorry, I meant my sisters have been given land, and it's almost equal land.
That's a lie.
No, it's very true. In fact, the land that they've been given, the land that I can call my mom and my dad, the land that they've been given is actually in a better place than where we have inherited land. You know, there's inheritance land. So I don't know about those things that inheritance and all that.
That now brings us to the contentious issue of today's topic.
You see, the issue is not inherited land from my father. It should be land that I own. If it is inherited or not, it's fine. Look at England. Look at England. The daughter inherits the kingdom. Yeah. Becomes a queen. Those are the same people that it is a cake to say that women cannot own land. What if you get only daughters? What happens to your land?
Those are the contentious issues that we are discussing in today's show. But before we delve deeper into this discussion, let's take a look at this video of what we think and what people are saying out there. Take a look. nakwambia inaitwa hitirafu ya mitambo. Lakini show lazima itaendelea.
Vyombo vya habari.
So I hope you've taken a look at that video, and there's a part where you're seeing a lady who has opened her arms and she's looking at her farm, and it's all like things are coming out, the produce is all out, but then at the back of her head she's like, are you sure all this could be mine, like including the land? Where is the disconnect? Like, I know you guys want to make it like it's very easy. Oh, the woman can access land. We can allow them to have the land. But how many men out there are willing to allow their wives or their sisters to own land in their name?
Okay, Jackie. Right now things are changing. And right now, let's say there's no land to inherit. So you have to get your own. Individually. And holistically as a family. Hey. Right?
Bona wajanza tumianga kizungu mingi.
Unakuja na wacha. Basi chini.
Holistically kuna ingine.
So in such a case, where there's no land to inherit, you can decide as a family, you talk. Right? Then what do you want to do with this land? As long as I can give you land,
does it really matter what I'm doing with the land? What are you doing with the land yourself for you to come and ask me what I'm doing with the land?
I can do a lot of things with this land.
What?
Agriculture, residential houses. There's so much to be done. But now it comes to how thoughtful are you to do something virtually or logical with that kind of farm. Land.
What are your thoughts now?
Jamaa mimi naona logically strategically hata mimi jaribu kizungu pia hapo. No, but yes and no. Yes, land has to be, I mean, unless you're just doing it for speculation. But land would be better if it is put to good use. It could be anything that you want to. Remember that anything that you are given, if you work with it, then it multiplies, it adds value. And even in the holy book, it says that there goes those guys who are given 5 talents, another 3 talents, another 2 talents. What they did with it determined the next step once their master came back. So whether it's girls being given land or men giving land, in fact, higher chances that when men are given land, they tend to think of selling it. Why? Because mostly, probably the wives would be like, no, we can't live there, or something like that. So we're hitting this where it touches the most.
Hitting the nail on the head.
Why I say that is because the first land I started growing my crops, my farming, I was given by my father-in-law. He told us, you can use this land. For a very long time. You remember the place in Kinania?
Yeah, Kinania, I know the place, yeah.
We used it for, I think, more than 7 years. Even when we still had our own land, we were still using it. So that's a form of doing it.
He gave it to you and not your wife?
No. It doesn't matter because the moment
Why did he wait for you to come, for him to give you the land?
But probably they're not interested in farming. I was interested in farming. So it's just...
That's an assumption.
Not an assumption because, I asked...
He knows the wife better.
Yes.
He knows the family better.
I'm just giving a scenario. The thing is, like I asked the first question, you can buy your wife a car in a piece of land, but you can never dictate to your wife what to do with the car, but you're here dictating what they need to do with the land.
No, Jackie, what do you want is this?
Not dictating.
What am I doing?
If someone comes to you, they have the need. The car, somebody's bought for your car because you have the need to make him move from point A to point B.
It's a gift.
To move from point A to B, kwa gift utaka kwa nyumba. Is to move, the need for that gift is to move from point A to point B. So,
if I want to go with the car to probably Namanga, if I want to go to Tanzania.
So give me the need for the land, they'll give you the now to dictate what you want to do with the farm.
Let me tell you something. When you dictate it and say it should do this, I think there are 2 ways of doing it. You can either dictate it like that by saying you need to tell me this, or you can ask. I have seen you suffering. Would you like to get this for you to be doing this? You say the same thing. It's just a house.
But why is land so valuable to you, men?
I think it's overrated. To be very honest,
it's not overrated.
I think, to be very honest, Jackie, from where I come, where I stand personally as Noah, I think all this issue of owning land is a hoax.
Would you give your daughters a portion of your land?
Not a portion. Yes,
in the inheritance. Will it be equal to the boys?
It depends.
On what?
It depends with number one where that land is. Na pia unajua hata watoto. Even let me tell you something, Jackie. Hata watoto wote have different capabilities. There is one of my sons that can give land in Kuresoi. But the other one ndamtafutia hapa karibu. Kuna ule kanamwambia najua hata akipata 10 acres atafanya nayo. Kuna mwingine najua akipata 10 acres labda hata. Lakini
si ni watoto wako. You treat them equally.
You know, let me tell you something, Jackie. Ongeza sauti kidogo. Even if you treat them equally. In fact, one of the ways of treating them equally is by giving them what they can handle better.
No.
Exactly.
Kuna ule let me tell you the truth.
Others more than the others.
Let me tell you, I know families where their son was given an acre in Kitengela. And he constructed flats. And the other one was given land in Wapi. It's called what, that area? It's called Juja. So far from the almost 16 kilometers from the tarmac. And if you go to that one, it is 6 acres. Na ametengeneza shamba. In fact, he might be getting more than this guy in Kitengela. But the guy in Kitengela, he has never even gone to. He went to Juja twice. He was like, it's too far. So you see, parents were that
was their own liking.
Who?
Probably they were approached and asked which part would you like.
You see, now this is the discussion I'm saying. You need to have those discussions.
When it comes now to
and ask
as a parent, why would you, like you've mentioned, your
talk to them.
We need to even learn even if you get married. Disclaimer. No, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. But the thing is, mbona wanaume mnaichukulia like it's something,
but it's very valuable.
Without land, like it's like you live for it.
It's like
nyinyi ndio wenye mna own hizi mashamba.
But traditionally Jackie, ilikuwa hivi, msichana you'll be married into another family, into another man's life. That man alipewa shamba na baba yake, si ndio? So technically mimi natumia shamba, si ndio? Natumia shamba. So that's why in our traditional African setting, women are not given land because they are moving away from the family.
And if you move away and then you divorce,
okay, divorce kama utarudi, tunatoa tunakutana tunasema ni mimi. Tunasema ni mimi. It's not being mean. You're being realistic.
Yes.
Realistic where? How?
Uko divorced. Kwani siku na utafuta mtu mwingine bado tena.
Hiyo ndio kazi sasa.
Sio kazi.
Na wale ambao umezaa, probably you have girls.
Aya.
What happens?
Kwani ukidivorce,
they cannot inherit from their father's land.
Why not?
Myself have gone to someone else.
No, you see, inheritance, there are two things looking at it. Number one, giving your wife land and giving your children land are two different things.
Yeah.
Very different.
It's not the same thing.
No.
How?
No. Wife na children wanaenda aje?
Wife simko na yeye.
Wife mtu afuko
zake zikifika za kutoka duniani.
Wife mtu related.
So what you're trying to say is mimi zangu hazitaenda rudi kwa watoto. Siendi saizi.
Jackie unajitanganya.
Semanga yangu ni ni yangu na yako
Ni yetu.
Alafu
No problem.
hizi vitu zote
kama iko na experience.
hizi vitu zote Jackie bila nimesema tu msichana traditional anatoka kwao unaenda kwa married to another family, that family the man who is married to ile mpata shamba na baba yake, si ndio? Then you can start your life from there, get your own lands and mtachia watoto wenu. So if you whatever you do with your children is up to you. But now amesema yeye atapata mshana wake shamba. Hiyo sasa inakuja kwa individually. Unataka nini? Usiwekele watu.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. I know your email address. I know your email address. Vile inaisha. I know it. I know. I'll tell you. I'll show you. The email, the private email. Why do you take... I've seen some women who do not take up the husband's names, and some have to say hyphen that one. Karibu tuseme ya Jackie. Shida tu hawezi change kabisa. Okay, so why is that could that be part of that? Would your husband be okay with you not taking up his name but remaining with the dad's name? Is that the same with inheriting land?
It's okay depending on how you carry yourself, because there's a way I can use my husband's name and probably the personality that I'm carrying, you'd be like, don't even use my name wherever you go.
I strongly believe that having seen, for example, my mom did not own land from the father. In fact, it was not something that they were born thinking of. But as she said, and talked with my dad, and I've had that discussion, and I've heard about it many times, is that she kept on telling my dad, it's good, all kids are equal, some might not get married, and it's also a bad assumption that when a daughter is married, she is married where there's land. Love uko kwetu hata ukiolewa kwetu bana hakuna shamba bana. Point.
Labda ujenge Simba.
Sasa alafu Simba iko hapo kwa gate kama ni mimi ile guards house.
Kama kuna ule dogo lazima ikuwe shared.
No, what and then, so what is the issue here?
What's the issue?
Equally or sharing?
Sharing equally, because you're all the same. Hakuna mtoto mwenye ati ni mzuri ama ni ana deserve kupatiwa a bigger portion na mwingine hapa.
Na kama kuna shamba? Kama kuna shamba.
Mwezi kwani mnaishi wapi? Kwa hewa.
Kuna ndugu zangu kwa ni Kitengela.
Kuna shamba nyingi.
Very true.
Mko na nyumba imechukua almost compound mzima. Babu na kwa wakubwa na move out. Ndapata shamba hapo ya kupewa. Hakuna. Kuna watu wana shamba. No, zote za lazima kuna watu wana shamba. Ukisha mkubwa move out. Tafuta kwako.
Come out on the succession law by the government, and it talks about the Matrimonial Property Act, which reinforces the equal rights for both spouses when they own property together, and grants some rights to women landowners. That brings the issue of
but that
children.
I strongly believe that is a very different discussion.
That's matrimonial.
No.
It comes into play because
I beg to differ. Matrimonial land and inherited land is
different things.
They're one and the same.
No, they're not. They're not.
Because matrimonial, it means labda land we bought together.
Yeah.
We've done this together.
Yes.
But not necessarily land that
inherited from my father.
My children. Remember,
it's the same.
Even you as a woman, your children can also inherit your land.
Yes.
So that is different from matrimonial.
It's the same.
Let me make my
matrimonial.
Let me tell you a story. There's a friend of mine. Who came one day, Johnny. I think it was during COVID. Kweli ilijitokeza. Akakuja akakana, sisi akakana. Anyway, just two of us. Tukakaa tukaongea. Bana, why are you very stressed, bana? The guy tells me, hey, Yeah, women are sharp. Some women are very sharp. These women we married are very intelligent. But for the last 2 years, but I've been paying my friend. So is that an issue? If it's matrimonial, can I also inherit your land in case me I don't have land? You have land. Can I inherit?
Like inherit how?
Your land. Can your husband inherit your land?
Yes, that's what usually happens.
What?
When you bought the just
no, you have bought it.
No, it's yours, Jackie.
Yes.
It's yours, not your husband. That's yours.
I didn't even know.
Because you're putting us in this situation.
No.
You can never react to a bad president.
And on that topic, if you define matrimony, it's two people, right? It's two people, husband and wife, right?
Yes.
Matrimonial land is what to pick together.
Yes.
Wewe Jackie na mzee,
yes,
naenda kununua shamba as two people.
Yes.
But then kuna watu wawili. That's not what we call matrimonial land.
Yes.
But whatever my father gave me, it's supposed to be what to do with it.
It's for you to umesikia vile ameongea kama Afrika. Yeah, we are still on the matrimonial property.
Yes.
I'm giving an example of my father and mother.
Yes.
They bought land together. Why is it that my father is the one who decides who should inherit this land when we bought it together?
No, that's the culture.
The culture.
That one is you. That is your mother.
That's the mother and father.
It's what is happening.
No, but you see, let me tell you something, Jack. And I know I'll tell this to women. You can control how your husband thinks. It is up to you. My mother came from a broken marriage. Very broken. My mother is the only child, listen to this, of the father and the mother. But this other side, my grandfather had 12 children. This other side, my mother had 16 children. She is the only one who was the child of the father and the mother. Her real brother who shared the mother died. But my mother sat down akasema, how do we go about this? Sina nguvu ya kununua mashamba, kutafuta mashamba na kila kitu. Bwana yangu siko na hiyo nguvu. Nitajaribu tukae hapa vizuri. In the end, my children will also benefit. Lakini saa hizi kuizi my friend.
Hizi kila mtu na maisha yake.
Unajindana na hiyo ndio class. So
you're sugarcoating everything.
No, I'm not sugarcoating.
No, the reality. The reality.
It's not the reality.
Even if you look critically, the older women are the ones who used to do what? To keep the title deeds of the
just
land.
Keeping.
No.
But if they wanted to sell,
but you know, at the end of the day, you know, in ancient times, in our grandfathers' time, selling land was like a taboo. Even now, if you have land, labda kama umefinyana kabisa mahali, ndio utauza. I'm telling you the truth. But kama utafinyana sana utauza. So the women are the ones who used to keep the title deeds, the property here. And even now, before you buy land, what happens is even your wife has to give consent.
And input matters. But now, you are talking about buying land together. Giving ideas where to buy doesn't mean you bought it together.
There are other things that the woman does. It doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be
those are opinions.
What is actually
you don't give me idea, no. Tukenda kununua ng'ombe, useme baadaye ununua ng'ombe white,
kwani sawa shughuli tafuta pesa na si mimi nimekusindikiza, kwani hiyo ina jenye nimetoka kutoka wapi?
Jackie is trying to say. Jackie is trying to say ile pesa nalipwa leo
exactly. Something.
The law inasema and when land is being apportioned after a divorce, the law takes into account factors that other than how much each person in the marriage paid for it, meaning a woman's non-monetary contributions including domestic work, management of the home, child care and farm work give her the right to more, if not all, of the couple's land.
Umesema in account factors.
When you're looking for money, you left me at home with the kids, didn't you?
But unajua ni nini? Umesema aje?
When you are looking for money, I was pregnant for 9 months.
You're contradicting yourself. Umekaa nyumbani, hii shamba ni yangu, ninapatia watoto wangu, si watoto wetu. That's the idea, sindio? Watoto wetu. The thing is, the land,
yes,
ni yangu.
Ni yetu.
Wewe nani? Nani ninunua? Hata kwa title deed. Labda
land ni yako. Umesikia tu leo imesema vizuri. Si lazima.
Kwa title deed,
Wewe umecheza kiwewe na nikacheza kimimi.
So the thing is,
ukienda kununua hiyo shamba,
so what's the point?
The point is, umechukulia hiyo shamba ni kama ni gold. Like,
si ni gold? Shamba ni mali.
Tell us your thoughts on this discussion. We'll be taking a short breather. I've been told I'm on fire. We are almost smoking. So keep your thoughts coming. We'll be right back after this.
Melon is a trailing vine in the gourd family. The word melon can refer to either the plant or specifically to the fruit. Watermelon is a type of melon that is sweet and refreshing fruit. Watermelons can either be grown on home gardens for small-scale farmers or large-scale depending on the market demand. You can either transplant or plant watermelon seeds directly. For best performance, plant watermelons in hot, sunny locations with loose, fertile, well-drained soil that is rich in organic matter. It is best to plant watermelons on raised rows and ensure that the soil pH is between 6.0 to 6.8. On average, it takes around 3 months for a watermelon to grow from seed to mature fruit, with smaller varieties having shorter growing times than larger varieties of watermelon. Watermelon growing, if done rationally and on a scalable basis, can be a good source of income.
A nursery bed is a small area of a yard or garden that's used for growing certain selected plants. The goal of a nursery bed is to grow young plants to a certain size at which they can be easily transplanted. A nursery bed can also be used to evaluate plants to see if they are worthy of planting in the larger garden, to observe their growth, habit, and color, or watch them for pests and diseases. A nursery bed is especially helpful for vegetable gardeners practicing succession in planting, in which a steady supply of fresh produce is maintained.
Mahindi yamekuwa chakula kikuu katika sehemu nyingi za ulimwengu na jumla ya uzalishaji wa mahindi kuliko ile ya ngano au mchele. Mbali na kuwa mahindi ni chakula, pia hutumiwa kutengeneza ethanoli, chakula cha wanyama na bidhaa zingine. Kunayo mahindi ya gume, mahindi ya ganda, yani popcorn, mahindi ya unga na mahindi matamu. Mahindi yanalimwa sana kote ulimwenguni na kiwango kikubwa cha mahindi hutolewa kila mwaka kuliko nafaka nyingine yoyote. Shamba la mahindi linaweza kutayarishwa kwa kutumia njia za kawaida au za kilimo cha uhifadhi. Kilimo cha kuhifadhi ni pamoja na kunyunyizia dawa za kuulia wadudu zilizopendekezwa na wataalamu wa kilimo. Unaweza kutumia trekta au njia ya mikono kufanya kilimo cha mahindi. Ni muhimu kuandaa ardhi mapema ya kutosha kuruhusu magugu kukauka na kuoza kabla ya kupanda.
Welcome to the Farm Drive with me, Jackie Moore, and we've been having a very interesting topic on gender inclusivity in Kenya's agri-food systems, and we're just discussing the issue of accessibility to land. What do you think should be the role of women when it comes to the... Now let's leave land a bit and look at the inclusivity of women in our agri-food systems. What do you think needs to be done to have more women getting involved in even working and looking at sustainable agri-food systems? What is your take?
My take is there's a women from the backbone of agriculture, and they should be given access, first of all, to finance, and be invited into the boardrooms and the decision-making chamber. Yes. Translator.
But you're not
if you do this, because traditionally women used to run agriculture, they can do things better than men when it comes to farming. We need to trace back our steps and make them lead in agriculture. Then we can just offer support.
Yeah.
Then we'll be way far in agriculture.
It's very interesting. Like you mentioned all the other things, but you didn't mention access to land.
So we'll say to land. When you say this, Jackie, this is
give the women
giving land.
Let me ask you, Jackie. How much land is why do you think this is not happening?
Because men are mean.
How?
No, let us be very specific. Let's not generalize. Don't use men in that sentence.
Sema, Jackie, sema, mimi Jackie Moore kutoka kwetu ABNC address C atupe shamba.
I can lie with thousands of women. Hata mkitaka nitafute signatures as and
does Jackie, if you ask your dad why they are not giving land, what does he say?
Unamuuliza.
Kutoka kitambo.
Umemuuliza.
You remember you might be watching this.
Ulimuuliza.
It is true.
Ulimuuliza.
Kutoka kitambo wanawake.
Ulimuuliza.
Why? You have to ask why. Why mbona wapewi?
Probably the reason Kevin came.
Now you have your dad.
Kevin gave.
So you me my dad, and I'm very sure my daddy, and I'm sure
I'll be married to someone.
I'm sure
who we don't even know.
I'm sure my dad is older than your dad.
No.
But here anapatia watu amepatia
wapatia equally. Let's be honest.
Hakuwapatia equally. That is very true.
Why?
That is his reason. That is his reason. That is his reason.
Because ina reciprocate. Kama tungekuwa tunapatiwa land equally, mimi nimetoka kwetu niko na shamba na wewe una shamba. Ingerudi tu hakuna mali mnaumia kama wanaume.
There's something called personal decision making, and that lies on the parent.
Mimi sisemi. Lakini vile nasema.
What is the role of women in getting a sustainable agri-food system?
No, I strongly believe that if women are given same access to resources, including land, then there'll be less people hungry.
Very true.
For one main reason. Like you know, I was going to pikangi. Because I don't see a carrying lunch. I only see one of my own carrying lunch. Two of them carrying something. But
They don't have to.
No, but yeah.
One main reason, a man by the time, but you'll find a man even carrying skuma and kakitu in the bag once akunywe asahau huko. But women will first of all make sure that kids are eating, there's food at home and things like that, which is a very obvious role. Just God created us different. But when I talk about access to land, it is not just access to land, it's access to agricultural land. For main reason, we are looking at food systems. Food systems from a perspective of how can we have as many subsistent farmers in that you can be able to grow for yourself. The extra is the excess that is what you sell. And that you find that you'll find homesteads, first of all, with able to feed themselves, and the rest comes as an excess. Yes.
Very nice. And I hope there could be many Noahs. But what needs to be done to change the mindset of most men like Kevin and others who don't believe
I still go back to what I said, Jackie. And I have said this many times. Women have the access, capability, skill of making sure that their men, the fathers of their children, are doing things the right way.
How?
You have the power. Just the way you have the power of making sure they're not doing the right thing.
You guys are trying to sugarcoat it, and
it's true.
I'm going to do a webinar this Friday, and I'll get the women who are in power to give us.
Now, why are you using the word power?
What's your power?
Power is in your house.
Power in Parliament to tell us what.
Just go to our mothers. Just go to our mothers, and you will be very.
They have no say.
Who says who? Says who?
I can give an example of women whose husbands have died and have been told it's either you go or we inherit you for you to be able to continue staying in this life.
They married the wrong people.
Exactly. Boom.
Then all you men are wrong. You should go to mass.
Just because. No, we are not wrong. We are not wrong.
All that thought. Let's take a look at the traffic updates. What's happening on the roads? Because most of the people are heading home now.
Yep.
And,
all right. Interesting. What is this thing about 1.5 trillion being given to Mombasa Road to be built? Anyway, that's another story for another day. Imara, exit to Imara Daima from the petrol station has been closed, so we have to go around all the way to Embakasi and back. Kura here in Ngong Road is a mess from junction to Lenana.
they're expanding the road.
Eastern bypass, heavy traffic along Eastern bypass, both highway lengths, as exhauster lorry involved in aggressive accident with several vehicles at Transami. It is an exhauster. I hope I go meja.
Wow.
It's a very serious accident. It's a very serious accident, as we can see here.
And that road is very small.
Yes, very small. So that is the accident on North Airport Road. And it's exhauster. Kuna mtu ameshuka kota amesema fuel tanker. Sasa sijui ni fuel gani. Unajua pia kuna biogas. There's an accident, Roysambu Footbridge, 200 meters from Roysambu Footbridge. There's a man who has been knocked down there. And then Mombasa Road is tricky. Exhauster again, that accident again. Wapi hapa pengine. Athi River from Namanga Road from Athi River to Kitengela, recarpeting is worse than it was. I've seen that recarpeting. My windscreen ilivunjika kwa sababu hapo. Anyway, Thika Road kuna jam hapo, Madera Githurai hapo. Somebody is saying that Super Metro needs to control their fleets there. So basically, I think it's easy. It's not as bad as it sounded. So kama mnaenda nyumbani, incidents and accidents, let us know.
But these accidents are becoming way too many in the recent past. I may have not noticed.
Pressure going to my friend.
Pressure, son. The other day I was going to Isenya. I even feared driving that day. I might have 10 accidents. This road. Trailer, police cars, everybody.
Bad road.
It's
That
bad
road.
road.
In fact, I stopped driving at night going to that road.
It's too dangerous, eh?
It's too dangerous, yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, your final thoughts in the evening farm drive. We like to get up close and personal with our guests. And today we are privileged to have Noah till the end of the show. He usually runs away. What would you do as a way of relaxing just when you're from the farm in Namanga? Unapata pressure, sijui, mbuzi zinakula. Sijui, sole imefunikwa na kofia.
Unanika watu wana.
One day told me, Noah, so utazeeka haraka.
Ajue zile mashindano na pia zinakufuata.
How do you maintain
I play golf.
the way you love?
Number one, I play golf and I play with my kids. It's fantastic. Yes.
Every day when you just back home.
Not every
Able
day.
to.
Wengine kuna pressure hata no. But I play golf for the weekends to get some stress levels to reduce a bit. What else do? I listen to music. Yes.
Which kind of music?
Nachoma.
Rumba makulutu. Sema tu
I listen to rumba, specific rumba, and then I also listen to roots reggae. See, mambo ya bendova hapana, roots reggae.
watu hawajakaa.
Hapana. Huyo jamaa ameenda lakini nimemwona ni Kisumu.
Jamaa anacheza tu chini tu kidogo.
Kelvin, you're an agronomist. Tell us your experience, by the way, when you were in Somalia and Ethiopia. How was it?
You have a very long story, but now the food tumekula injera na pilipili. Mpaka sasa nikiweka pilipili mbili hata sisikii kitu kwa chakula, sisikii pilipili.
What did you do it as a way of relaxing?
Myself, I'm a dog person. So my safe zone is my dogs. Take a walk with the dogs. You're just taking a walk or play with them. They love football. Yeah, I also love football. So I do play football together. But now you buy balls every single time because they don't play nice.
They're always rough,
Wewe ni yako.
Nimesikia
You don't ask me what I usually do as a way of relaxing.
She tell us.
Wewe ndio kama kunywa uji. Hata kama kunywa uji.
You find out. I know.
Ama ni kudansi kanungo pia ni sawa.
It depends on the day of the week, so you watch movies, by the way, movies nyingi sana. So yeah, that has been the evening farm drive. Keep the conversation going, and that's on our trivia question is using barriers to prevent pests from getting into an area is an example of which type of pest management method? Using barriers to prevent pests from getting into an area.
Pest or pest?
Pests.
No.
Using barriers to prevent pests from getting into an area is an example of which type of pest management method? Is it biological control, mechanical control, or chemical control? Take part in the trivia question, and you could be one of our viewers who's walking away with one of our goodies. We are waiting for any one of you. The first one who will actually respond to this trivia question, probably tomorrow morning or the mid-morning or the evening drive, will be walking away with that gift hamper. Now, our quote for today comes from Samuel Johnson, who says, agriculture not only gives riches to a nation, but the only riches she can call her own.
Wow.
That has been the evening farm drive. You've been who?
Have been Ocean Kevin.
Mbona mzee tend Ocean Kevin. No one is here kanema.
I've been your boss.
Again sema tunagawana leo.
Tunagawana leo.
You're beautiful, you're one and done. Tomorrow we'll see you tomorrow, same place and time. Goodbye for now.